I thought that I should start with showing you a short film that tells what a local media company is all about these days and what quality journalism is for us.
When something happens where you live, we'll be there. We'll be there to report on stormy weather and accidents. When roads are being built, when we elect politicians and when they govern for us. We'll be there when people rise up in protest, when they use their voices and take part in public debate. We'll share the joy for the team in your heart. We'll be there when your children play and laugh. We'll be there among you. Amedia has 800 journalists and editors all over Norway, living and working in the same local communities as all of you. Journalists who mirror people's everyday lives, who ask the troublesome questions, who influence and care about what happens. We used to meet our readers once a day in print. Now we meet you all the time, over breakfast, on the bus, at lunch, in the sofa, and before lights out, whenever something happens. Journalism is important because it stands for something and has the potential for change. Because citizens need knowledge to participate. Because society needs independent media.
I'm quite proud of this film, and when we made it, I stole pictures from every single of our local media houses. So this is produced by journalists working in a small local newspaper with 2,000 copies in circulation and so forth. So this is what we do these days. As we said, we are 800 journalists and editors. They work in 63 different newspapers. They cover 263 municipals, where 52% of the Norwegian population live, and 62% of them read and consume our content every day. I think this makes us to a very important democratic institution in Norway. We have been the best performer in the user market over the last 2.5 years. We have now 513,000 paying subscribers altogether, and we have a growth every single day still. But how come? How have we managed this? I would like to point out 4 different reasons why we have succeeded. The first one is that we have rediscovered the power of journalism. There was a time when we thought that in order to finance journalism, we had to buy up digital companies, search companies, listing companies, doing shopping and so forth in order to do that. But then we realized the most sustainable method to finance journalism is by journalism itself. I thought that I should use some other words on this slide, but it's impossible these days to use the words that we used when we started this journey, because we said, journalism first, make journalism great again. Well, we have transformed the local media companies, like you have seen. We have become maybe the most strongest public service institution in our municipals. And that's something that is quite important. We, unlike NRK or the national companies that cover the top football games, we cover football games live every single day, more than 3,000 matches a year, but that's in the 4th and 5th division. That's matches with 10-year-old people, children playing. They are broadcasted live. We have utilized the data that we collect from our users. We collect more than 1,000 touch points every second. And we have a huge data lake that gives us knowledge and insight what's going on. And we use that insight in order to improve the services and the content that we deliver. And we understand the need of the readers and act accordingly. This slide down there is we track every single article that we actually publish. It's more 500,000 articles a year. And what kind of articles do we produce most of, and what kind of articles are read most? And we see that we produce a lot of politics and sports and football and so forth, but it's not that much, it didn't used to be that much read. So we started to tell the stories in another way in order to engage the people and engage the readers. And after a couple of years, we have managed to double the number of readers of political articles in this way. The good news by all this research is that quality journalism is the center of gravity. That is what people like to have. That's what people like to read and expect that we deliver to them. And they are willing to pay for it. When it comes to politics, we have changed the focus. We have gone from quoting to consequence journalism. We have gone from covering all the local city hall debates to arranging debates ourselves and putting questions to the politicians and ask them to come. And we gather people not only live on our streaming activities, but also in the city hall and in the editorial floors to listen to the politicians. We talked about what is quality journalism. I don't like discussions where one kind of journalism is named as quality and not another part. I think that journalism in itself is quality. Unlike using journalistic skills to report and inform, because journalism is a function in society. And that function is important to maintain and to report about. We need to have reporters there. The local communities and municipals, they need journalism. They need journalists to be there. I'm more concerned about no news than fake news. We produce 500,000 articles every year. Our readers don't think of them as fake news. They're not concerned about fake news, but they're concerned to get those articles delivered because they are important in their lives. So that's working. This is the graph telling us about the growth in digital subscribers. 2.5 years ago, we had 8,000. 3.5, maybe. In January 2015, we had 18,000. This is already an old figure. We are more than 190,000 by now, so we are still growing, and that's important. But even though this is a good story, we are not through, because this is not going to save the journalistic power in the coming years, because it's still hard to finance this journalism, because we are losing rapidly advertising money, and we need to replace them. We are doing our best, but we also need to have a discussion with the politicians. Thank you.